Hello, my beautiful viewers. How are you? I am so excited. The co host is here. I'm here. The little man is here next to me. He is quiet as a mouse. He's got my lipstick holder and he's biting on it if there's no tomorrow. Look, 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 look. He's biting on it. And our guest is here. I'm so excited for our guest today. And everywhere you will still see our presence of our miracle man. Yesterday, when I took him off our panel messenger and I took him off the group as all the authors, I took him off. My heart was just crying. My tears was running. All in all, we will remember our beautiful miracle man, Howard Brown, till the end of days. Till the end of days. So, my beautiful Donna, we are so excited you are here. We are so excited to hear about your book. We're gonna go in the route. We're gonna ask you to introduce yourself. And then I'm going to hand over to beautiful Krista. She's going to introduce herself and ask her your first question, and then Gail, and then Laura, and then it will be back to me. So, my beautiful Donna, it was an honor and such a privilege to have met you, to have danced with you. And I love you the same day I've met you. And reading your book made me even love you more. So thank you so much for creating this space for people to get to know you even in a deeper level. And you are such an inspiration, not only to me, but to a lot of people around the world. So please introduce yourself, and can you tell us the reason why you decided to write this book?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. First off, it's an honor. My name is Donna Bess, as you can see on the screen. I wrote this book because I've gone through a lot of things, but through it all, I've had this audacious hope in the Lord. And there is a scripture in Romans that talks about that He's their source of hope. And I just feel that, there's so many people that go through hard things and they give up. And there's always a way through, and sometimes you just have to stay the course. And I want to be an inspiration to people who feel like they maybe just can't hold on, that they can, and if they do, they'll be grateful when they get to the other side. I just want to help people see that they can.
Nice.
Incredible. And I love that. I do believe that the two big things in life is belief and hope. And that's also part of my core values with love. So thank you so much for that. My beautiful Rosebud, my beautiful Krista, all over to you.
Wow, that's definitely, how things always happen for a reason. I truly believe that. And you coming on and after reading your book, the connection I feel not only to you, but to God and to everything you've gone through in a higher way. So to quickly introduce myself, my name is Krista and I'm from Ontario, Canada. And I do have to start off by naming my book, one of my books that made Amazon #1 best-selling book is called Skip the Pain, Experience the Pleasure. Wait for it. The tagline is cut the crap that's holding you back so you can live the life you love. And that's the truth is we all tend to hold on to crap that we really need to let go of. And besides speaking and my writing being here, I do different energy work. And I really have to give a shout out to our other angel, Howard, as both of you guys flow into this. He rewrote my bio. He says, Krista, you're an earth angel. You're the voice of hope for people. And when both of you guys said that, he's definitely with us. So thank you for being here. And I would just love to jump into my first question, many questions. One of the things that you've gone through, you've gone through quite a bit of loss, and there was a lot of grieving you had to go through. Now, I can relate to that. I wrote about that in a few of my books. different stages of grief. But there's one stage that people forget to put: happiness, laughter. And when I read that in your book, how you felt guilty at one point for laughing. I don't want to give everything away. You can explain as much as you want, but I know for myself, it was me, my husband who passed away, my first husband, that there was a period of time, it's like I forgot and I was laughing with my friends, and that guilt, and after thinking, hold on a minute, I should be always in sorrow. And that is not how, to carry on and to give hope and to help inspire other people. So
Mhm.
when I read that, first of all, thank you for putting that in, being vulnerable for putting that in, because it's so easy to kind of feel shameful and keep it out. So thank you for putting that in. So I know I can identify there's someone else out there.
Mhm.
And but if you can comment a little bit to our viewers and our listeners, explain a little bit more on that.
Yeah, that's a great question because I felt compelled really to put it in there because I've been around many widows, and that's the situation with me. And it's almost feels unacceptable to be happy, because the people around you are always reminding you of your loss. And so I was like, I feel good. I'm excited to, because he was sick for a long time. So I'm excited to go make breakfast and just be, and to take a walk and just be, and not have this heavy weight always on me. And I felt like I was breathing again, and I know where he is. So I felt good, but it almost made me feel like maybe I shouldn't tell people this because they're like, I'm so sorry all the time. I'm like, well, I'm kind of happy, because I'm like, I have freedom to laugh and to be and to have a simple breakfast without some chaos around me. And it was so great to experience that. And so I wanted people to know that that's really okay.
Yeah, I'm so glad again you put that in your book, because I know so many people who I've spoke to as well uh, felt the same way, or maybe have different diseases and they feel they should be focusing on the disease because everybody says, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're feeling whatever disease or illness they may be suffering from," and at the same time they want to be happy.
Mhm.
There's good things happening in their life, family, friends, children, grandchildren, whatever. So by putting that in, I think will highlight and give hope to a lot of other people out there that it is okay to find happiness and to laugh.
Absolutely.
So thank you,
Absolutely.
Donna, for putting that in. Gail,
Thank you.
Gail, we can't hear you. I think you are mute.
Yes, I always put myself on mute because I talk to myself. So, hi, Donna. Thank you so much.
Thank
By the way,
you.
Krista, I'm Gail Craft, and I am also an author. I am an empowerment master. I help people make it to the next level who are stuck. I have been a Mrs. Potts. I've been part of this community now for 4 months, and I'm just absolutely loving it. And I loved your book. I was reading your book and I said, you cannot make stuff up. They don't even make movies that are this bad. Right? It's like, oh, here we go again. So guys, you've got to read this book. It's just phenomenal. And what I love about the book is that you are open, honest, vulnerable. You're open with making bad choices and making good choices. You're open about forgetting there's a Lord and then remembering there's a Lord. And so there's a line there where you say, wounded people don't make the best decisions. Bam. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, after my husband died, of course, I'd been married for 23 years, and suddenly I was alone and single, in a brand new career. And it just so happened it was at the same time that my mom died. So I was kind of spinning out of control, but I had kids and I was trying to pull myself together. I didn't really make all the best choices in that season. And actually, I've had several seasons like that where I just didn't make the best choices. And one of them was like at the very beginning of the book where I wasn't a Christian yet, but I was messed up. I was very distraught with the situations in my life, and I didn't have any place to turn. And both of those seasons, I was struggling to just kind of figure life out. And if you're alone in it and you don't really have someone kind of coming alongside you and saying, maybe you should think something different, or maybe can handle it this way, or, and I didn't really have that in either of those two seasons. There was a lot of judgment and from people around me. And so I just kind of pulled away and tried to do the best I could. And I made really pathetic decisions that ended up having lasting consequences. So, and that again is something that I feel like people need to understand, that, we see people making poor consequences and we want to sit in judgment of it, but poor decisions, and we want to sit in judgment of it. But the truth is when people are in a broken place, their logic isn't really all that solid. And so they do make poor decisions. And rather than sitting in judgment, coming alongside with kindness and love and saying, I know that this is a tough season for you. How can I help? And that would have been a much better position for people in my situation if they had been a little bit more like that.
I love that. I always say we make the best decisions we can based on the position we're in at that time and the resources we have available to us and the knowledge that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no poor decisions. It's the best decision made.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not judge anywhere in the book. I just went for the ride, and thank you so much, Laura.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Donna. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Brennan Ballet. Going to do this out of respect for Miss Sinette, who always supports me. I am the international #1 best-selling author of The Science of Empowerment, 3-time Amazon best-selling book. And I, like my fellow family members here, we speak around the globe and we coach, and we are always trying to find ways to empower not only ourselves, but everyone we come into contact with. And Sinette has just created such a beautiful pathway for us to interview truly, for me, true examples of empowered human beings. And so thank you, as we all are saying, thank you for writing this book. There's so much in here. I like all do. We have pages of notes. You have quotes. You have stories. I want to acknowledge Piglet and Pooh. They are two of my favorite energetic entities in the world. But this book is truly about all of the humanness that we go through, the tragedies, our parents, how they mess us up because they're messed up. You just circle around so much power and beauty through trials and tragedy, but it really is a unique story. I cried like a baby at the beginning, not going to give that away. I went through something similar, but with my best friend. And so it brought me right back there, but also brought me to a place of remembrance and the power of that connection. I just have so many questions. I don't even know where to go, but your faith and how it moved you through these challenges, I thought was quite empowering for you, even though you questioned it from time to time. And you have a lot of stories around the church in a way that I don't think the average person quite understands, because you're really talking about community building in the church, like it affects everything. Not exactly a friend now of Pastor Dale's as I moved through the book, but I do want to ask you something, because in the moment of when there was clarity and compassion and strength of what you shared by being connected with Pastor Dale, he asked you a question that I thought was really powerful. And it's a question for me that I think empowers people and allows them to then go out into the world to empower others. But because you had a relationship with him that also became a challenge, and the way you moved through it. So again, I'm speaking because I've read the book. So for everybody out there, it really is an incredible moving story of this one woman and everything that you went through. And we really gain insight into those parts of ourselves and find strength, I think, over and over again with what you went through. But he asked you, or he presented this question to you: can you be an example? And I thought, again, reading where you were with him at the time of that, and then what you went through, people will understand when they read the book, but it's still a powerful question. And I don't think enough of us are ever asked that in the way that you were, especially with everything you've gone through. So, as you've moved through the book, and even now in this part of your life, how do you show up as an example? I know you represent a lot in faith in God, but just your humanness and your everyday woman power, how do you show up as an example?
Wow. That's a great question that I don't know if I have a super simple answer for, but I would say the biggest thing that I do is I consider myself to be a glory carrier.
Mm,
And wherever I go, it's my position to reflect and reveal my Heavenly Father.
mm,
And when I am around people, I want to demonstrate that kind of love.
mm,
And as you know, on the back cover, it says that I'm a nurse practitioner. So I have ample opportunity to not, because people are not always kind. But it is my mission each day when I leave the house that I want to reflect love,
mm,
even when people aren't being loving. And because that's the way our Heavenly Father is. He doesn't love us when we love Him back. He loves
mm.
us no matter what. And so that's pretty much it's in the way that I go. Each day, wherever I am, I have several things that I'm doing. I try to reflect the love of God and to reveal His character to others as I
Mm.
go.
Oh, I love that. What a beautiful answer. And again, we interview authors all over the globe, and we, of course, we just cherish the writing. But this truly is a book that now, when people are listening to you and they go and read the book, I just think the feeling that they will get, because you present yourself in such a way that no one would ever imagine of what you've gone through.
Mm.
And so I think that's why I wanted to ask you about being that example. I know some of that because I've read the book, but I think it's important for people to know that part of the story of how you carry that through. So thank you. Very empowering answer. Very beautiful answer.
Thank
I love
you.
the glory carrier. There's so many things I've gotten from your book that I'm carrying. And a shout out to Mrs. Butler.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Exactly.
Yes, I have to. Thank you, Miss
Thank
Sinette.
you. So that was my question as well, my Mrs. Butler. So before that, um, for me, uh, reading the front part of your book when you and your friend are on your way to work and you are working at Disneyland, and I stopped in my tracks and I talked to God. I said to God, "Oh God, she worked there, and that's on my bucket list. I really, really want to come." So now two things is added to my bucket list: seeing you, embracing you, and going to Disneyland.
So
So
cute.
my beautiful one, I also had an amazing teacher, Mrs. Nell. I met her in well, we call Sonnet 7. So it will be middle school. I'm not sure what grades you will be talking about. And she influenced me in such a way that's profound. And seeing your Mrs. Butler and even your relationship with her afterwards, how important was that relationship? And are you able to do that for somebody else that's also a youngster? Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit?
Well,
Thank you.
I've actually written another story that's in an anthology that we've done in our writing group. and it is about Mrs. Butler. And actually, I've written several stories about her because she really shaped me. And I had a word for her, and it was oasis. And so I felt that she was an oasis to me, and I want to be an oasis to other people. The beautiful thing about it being an oasis is you don't have to be a constant. You can be a moment.
Oh.
And so when I am with people, I try to be a moment of an oasis. And I find it especially beautiful as with young people that I see in the clinic and stuff, because a lot of times they come in with issues that are, unfortunate. And they come in and they'll be like hung in shame and their faces are covered. And a lot of times I'll just stand right in front of them and say, would you look right in my eyes? And what I want you to hear from me is there's no shame in this room. There is none. You are here. You are loved. You're respected. Let's talk. And I've had many very moving experiences in very brief periods of time. And I try to encourage other people. I was speaking at a conference last year, and that was pretty much my message, is that we have the ability to change lives in a moment of time. It doesn't have to be, a long period of time to actually impact. It can just be a short period of time. And if you offer love to the person who's broken and hurting, they're going to be able to receive it. And they may not think about it for hours, days, weeks, but it will come back to them.
Nice.
So one of the things that I love, I always say, for a moment in time, I can leave my sparkle in somebody's heart and memory. And I will never maybe find out what that sparkle, the ripple effect of that. And sometimes I do, but I just know that is the right thing to do, because that is just part of myself and God's plan for my life. I love that. Thank you so much for everything that you are doing. I quickly want to mention, my beautiful viewers, just look down below in the show notes. Donna's information is there. My co-host information is there. Please connect with each other. And then also to buy Donna's book, the link is in there. There's a synopsis. Oh, I almost cannot pronounce it, of a book. Please come and check out. And we do have quite a lot of viewers. So my beautiful viewers, you can go to the chat button and you can write a message for Donna, and we will be able to in real time see it, and we will be able to read it out. And if there's a question for Donna, we can ask Donna a question. So thank you, my beautiful viewers, for being here. Thank you for the Diamond Beauties that's already currently watching. All over to you, my beautiful Krista.
I love the way this show always flows exactly the way it's meant to be. So not to, harp on Mrs. Butler. And because I think we've already kind of brought her to attention and you've continued writing about her, it's a great kind of segue to entice the audience to read this book, because not only will you get a little bit of insight about where you've been to where you are now, and also people who have impacted you. And a couple things that came into my awareness is that there's been two people in your life who you literally wrote, you considered an earth angel. Now, as I said in the very beginning, Sinette helped me connect with Howard. Howard, as when I was working with him and exploring spirituality, and he called me, as in his words, his earth angel, because I came into his life right at the moment when he needed it the most, and offered that inspiration and that hope and that awakening, for him, what he needed. And I often try to do that in different ways, wherever I'm needed. And I love the point you were talking about being kind, bringing some like Sinette, sparkle into every day. There's actually some science around it that even a simple smile can elevate somebody's serotonin So wherever they were before, if they were in a state of depression, they instantly get that little bit of, serotonin buzz. Not only that, you doing it yourself get the same thing. And as an added bonus, if someone else sees you do an act of kindness, they receive it as well. So you see that ripple effect. And I see that ripple effect of the kindness that came into your life, and how you connected with God, and got these blessings. But with the earth angel, and you mentioned it specifically, like, there's two people who you consider earth angels. I often will say earth angel at the rest stop, earth angel at, different things. How do you connect with, with the people you wrote in the book as an earth angel? And now, do you still see earth angels or people who impact your life coming into your life at the moment that you still need it most?
Well, actually, I've had quite a few earth angels. One of the ones that I wrote in there was my best friend, who is still my best friend to this day. And she came into my life in a time when I really needed a friend. And she came kind of at the beginning of my Christian life. So she is, and we're still intimately connected today, because we probably a week doesn't go by that we don't talk. And times when I couldn't even pray, she would pray. I didn't have it in me. I was like, I'm like done. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I just, whatever, take me home, Jesus, and she would pray for me. So I certainly have that. One of the ones that would probably be the most recent would be one you guys have met, which is Missy Maxwell Wharton. Because I found myself in her writing group, and it was actually through writing my book that I got the rest of the healing that I so desperately needed. And writing my words was just a way for the Holy Spirit to just kind of show me, you're not over this yet. I would write it and I'd feel like this, kind of a feeling. And I'm like, okay, well, that's ugly. Let's do this. Let's work on that. So, she helped me through that writing process. And I feel like earth angels are really people who just touch you along the way and really make something that could have not been great, beautiful. And when I first started writing the book, I gave up after a couple of months, because I was like, I can't do this. I can't figure it out. I don't know. And then, by the power of God's blessings, I found out about her. I was in church one Sunday, and a girl told me she was going to her class. And I was like, she teaches you how to write a book? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, I think I need to do that, because I cannot do this. And so she just came alongside and with her teaching and stuff. And that really helped me feel empowered to be able to write the book. And it was in that journey that I got the rest of the healing that I had been searching for a few years. So.
Nice.
Wow, that is amazing. Not only did she come into your life when you were, really vulnerable, you were vulnerable enough to share to all of us that, at times you wanted to give up and say, I can't do that, but you allowed her to pray for you. And you showed us that, people can still come into your life and dreams still can happen. I do want to give a shout out to one of our viewers, Sydney Francis, who wrote in, said, I love the topic of earth angels. Thank you all for this interview. So thank you, Sydney, for tuning in. Gail, I'll pass it to you.
Awesome. I was going to ask you to read her statement, because I think you're the perfect person to do that. So again, I was so fascinated by your journey, because it proves, or it demonstrates, that salvation, which we're still not there yet, is not a straight line. It's just not a straight line, right? And we all get lost from time to time. And there's a section there where you say, I had longed for James to be saved. And the beginning of that chapter, unrealistic expectations are the fuel that drive you to bitterness and steals your joy. Would you like to share some on that?
Yes. So I got saved a few years into our marriage, and our marriage was not super great. And of course, I immediately wanted him to be saved. I was the only Christian in either my family or his. So I came under a lot of attack from both him and my parents and his parents. So, but I knew that it was the right thing. I could feel the changes taking place in me, and I knew I was on the right path. So I kept praying for him to be saved. And I was exasperated, honestly, because it seemed like it was taking very long. And then I'm sorry, I forgot what your question was exactly. I started talking about something kind of emotional. But anyway, when he was kind of accosting me for my belief system, I was having to learn how to love him, even though he was being harsh. And my spiritual moms helped me so much with that, because I just wanted him to be fixed, because I can be a fixer. I want to fix people. Let's do this and fix people. And so I was having to learn what love looked like. And a lot of times it was sacrificing what I wanted to just believe that God had a plan. And a lot of that I learned on him. A lot of that was learned in my relationship with him, because that's, where God moves, is wherever you are. Right. So, and that's where I was as a brand new Christian. And so, that he got the blessings from so much of it. But over the course of time, as I learned how to kind of take the foot off the pedal, so to speak, and just trust that God had a plan, he started to kind of be less forceful towards me. And that's why, I was totally surprised one day on Easter Sunday when he came in and said, "Hey, would you like me to go to church?" I was like, yes, because I had just kind of let it go, because I had to trust that God had a plan. And it didn't look like mine for sure, but he had one. So,
Yeah, I honestly, this is also a book on perseverance, a book on resilience, a book on faith and trust, and a book on evidence. There's lots of evidence in that book. So thank you for sharing your story so openly. Laura?
I love how Gail just used that word evidence, because those of us are in that mindset, we know what that means in that book. So many of us go through our faith and being challenged, whether it's through disease, death, or relationship. And when Gail was asking that question, you were talking about your husband, James. And I remember there was another woman that was waiting over 3 decades for someone. And so it really is, faith. Faith is a very unique, I think, experience. So I have. I don't know. I'm not sure where I want to go, but I know where I'm going to go. Okay, so I connect with God. Let's say the way you connect with God, but differently. I study quantum and energy, universal energies, and I look at everything in a structure, as a structural context. But that comes from the Almighty, no matter which way you want to break it all down under that umbrella. In chapter 21, and I love, you have quotes everywhere. Krista and I love quotes. We're quote queens. But I love some that you have created on your own, and then some that you take from some of the great leadership in our world. And I love this one from Winston Churchill, of course. If you're going through hell, keep going. I think this is like, when I read this, that you referenced this, it made me think of when I was in Girl Scouts and you being a Girl Scout. Not that you wrote anything about being a Girl Scout, but I think about the badges. And if anybody was in hell and kept going through it, it was you. It really was you. Like, this quote for me was almost made for you at a different time, and it applied through. Now, I know that through your book and the faith connection that you have with God, but I'm curious, what human power, what human strength do you feel that you have? Yes, because of your faith, but also because of who you chose to become through that faith.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there's a differentiation there
Yeah.
because you are human.
Yes.
And that connection is something that is different than the humanness.
Yeah.
It's God energy.
Yeah.
So what earthly power supports you? And I know you already know what I'm asking because I can feel it and see it in your face. So thank you.
Well, so I was raised by a Marine,
Yes.
and it was his mantra was never let them see you sweat. And he wasn't a man that didn't know how to love well, but he loved the best way he knew how.
Mm.
And so we were trained under that tutelage, to just keep persevering. And there were so many times, quite honestly, if I hadn't been raised the way that I was, I'm just not sure that I could have kept going. But it was ingrained in me since I was a child that you don't give up. You just don't give up. And, my faith certainly helped to change the perspective and the trajectory of not giving up. But it's really an empowerment that is beyond me. It's beyond anything that I could really have understood. I know this. I didn't know this. Honestly, at the time, I did not know this. But when people were saying, how do you just keep going? And I'm like, why wouldn't you? Like, how did you manage all that? I'm like, well, what would you do? Like, it was just like, I mean, like when I was going to nursing school and life was so challenging, people were like, how are you doing that? And I was like, I have kids to take care of. What would you do? I wouldn't do that. Well, I got to take care of the kids. It's the next thing I got to do. So I just moved through things because it was logical and like, what else would I do? And I just didn't give anything else a consideration, So
I think
go ahead.
Yeah, no. I think this is why it's so important to read your book. It really is. I love that sidetrack to surrender because I got sidetracked into this. And you also write about it's not giving up, right? It's giving over. And I
Mm-hmm.
love this about you, but there was always this strength in you. My dad has passed recently, but always will forever be a Marine. So I understood this. This is why I wanted to ask this question. There is something in the mindset training when you are around that energetic structure of there is no, even though you've contemplated some things, and we'll leave that for the readership to find, there was no way because you're in a way like a little soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And you have that in you. So I think it's really important. And I love that that is something that you did take from your dad. Amidst the relationship that you went through, but there's a strength in you that was the very best of him, not always presented in the best way, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something I think that really grounded you in your earthly form,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're connected to the heavenly form.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Miss Annette.
Thank you. So my beautiful Missy have given you a beautiful comment. Missy said, this has been a beautiful Donna's true earth angel to so many. Then Sydney said, beautiful story, Donna. Writing the book is a healing process. And then when just as soon as beautiful Laura started to ask her question, she gave sunglasses with your answer. So thank you so much for the feedback, my beautiful ones. So Gail, you just ripped my question out of my nose for expectations. So I had to go to my next one. So there's in South Africa, we've got a movie actor and producer that have done a lot of Afrikaans speaking funny movies, Leon Schuster. And one of the things he was playing a Sagoma is one of the African traditional healing men. And he will taking cow bones that was dry, and then he will put it in a bag, and then he will fry the bones, and then he will say this, ooh, rittelt bones, and the bene, the bones. And as soon as I got to this chapter 10, dry bones rattling, I started to laugh uncontrollably because I remember the way that he was portraying himself as a Sagoma in the movie. And I must just tell you, I didn't see that movie for probably 22 years. I was like, wow, where did that memory come out? So that was so beautiful. So Donna, my question on that, oh, let me just get back to my phone. Dry bones rattle, for he orders his angels to protect you wherever you go. They will steady you with their hands to keep you from stumbling against the rocks on the trail. I love that. And that was so evident in everything that you was writing about. How did this chapter came about?
Well, I mean, almost anything that you pick on my book, you could put it in so many scenarios in my life. Excuse me. I was really in a dark place. Um, Life felt like just kept being zapped from me every time I'd get up and get back down, you know. And I just think that over the course of time, faithful God was just like, I'm calling to you. You have a destiny. You have a plan. And I could see it, I could feel it, but it wouldn't hold me for too long until finally, I got enough healing that I could grab hold of it. And then it was like, okay, I could feel life coming back into me. But I had to stay the course till I could get to that place that I could feel the life coming back into me, because I was quite frustrated, honestly. And I remember saying to my friend, like, when do I get back to the place that I once was? How do I get back to that place? Because there was a place where I was just filled with hope and joy. And now I'm just struggling to stay on top of the stuff, And I think just learning to stay the course helped me to understand that, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because God is with me. And, my growing process was in my Christian life too, because I had to learn that God is not in my mistakes. He's in my destiny. He doesn't look at my mistakes and define me with that. He looks at me and he defines me with what I'm called to. He's moving me forward. Even if I want to look back, he's like, no, look this way, go this way. This is what I want for you. Don't look back at that. That's what creates the beautiful jewels you walk on into your destiny. That's what created who I am today. I am the sum total of all of my yesterdays. Without them, I would not be who I am today. Without being who I am today, I can't have the destiny that he's leading me to. So I had to learn how to look at that and see it for what it was and go, that's okay. This is a new season. This is a new place. Those things are part of who I am, but they're to be the jewels of the future, not the stones of the past.
Oh, I've got goosebumps. Yesterday, I put all 4 glasses on because I got so many goosebumps, but I cannot do it. But you just give me 1 second, Donna. You have a destiny. You have a plan. I love this. So yes, there is going 2 glasses on. How's that for a change? I've got goosebumps. Thank you. So my beautiful Krista and Gal, you've got 2 minutes each, not to ask the question, but to state something, and then it will be a beautiful Laura's time to do the speed run. So Krista,
Okay, I'll try because it's funny how everyone seemed to kind of zap my ideas. First of all, I do want to make a statement at sometimes our biggest battles are our biggest blessings. And I think you showed that beautifully. And with my other quick second or minute, I will go back to the expectations. And I loved this quote. Unrealistic expectations are the fuel that drives you to bitterness and steals your joy. How you came up with that is pure magical. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I'm going to go to the last paragraph. But I am healing and growing into the things He has for me. His gift of love offers hope in my hopelessness, strength in my weakness, joy in my brokenness. And all I have to do is look up and say, Papa Abba, come meet me here. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Mm,
Wow.
I know.
So before we go to you, there is just let me just get to the comments. Beautiful. Sydney says, the jewel of the future, not the stones of the past. Oh, I love that. And that's the reason for the second glasses on top. And then beautiful Missy said, so good, Donna. Powerful. And we had beautiful Missy on the author show as well. So my beautiful viewers, not only are you able to look at Donna's beautiful show in the recording, but if you want to go down and see all our past authors, everything is under Self Love Ignites Me YouTube channel. So yes, Sydney said, wow, chills, chills, chills. And on that note, my beautiful Laura, all over to you. I've got the pen. I've got the pen.
Oh, so I have 3 of my words. I'm excited to see. I'm sure Krista and I, we usually our brain shares some of the same space. All right, my first word for you, and remember, they can just be quick answers. All right, detour.
It's the sidetrack part of is the detour is the sidetrack part that actually is creating the destiny. You know, when Joseph was in the pit, he didn't think he was on his way to his destiny, but the detours are where the beauty of what God wants to create in me and you is actually where the destiny is created. He's in the creating process in that detour.
Oh, wow. What an explanation for that word. All right. Second word, declare.
Oh, I love declare. Actually, I think I have many things in there that I declare, but like one of the things that I declared multiple times is it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. It doesn't matter what I think about it. I will trust him. And I would declare that repeatedly, no matter what situation I was in. I was like, okay, this is just going to be okay. I can't see it. I can't feel it. I don't recognize it, but you have a plan and I'm going to trust it.
Wow. Wow. Again, empowering. All right. And my third word is restoration.
Restoration to me comes from revelation in who he is and who he's created me to be.
Oh my God.
When you get that revelation, you're on your way to restoration.
I'm just going to say very quickly, the book, even if those are people out there that are not Christian based, aren't faith based, let's just say they're challenged to connect to God in that way, you can still garner gems of wisdom and insight, and you will become so inspired. And just those 3 responses for me will open up the mindset and the heart and the faith that can be experienced for that, because you can put it into everyday experience. And I love even like just the trust when you can't see it, feel it, you don't even necessarily believe it the way you need to, but trust that it is there. I love it. Thank you for those answers, Miss Krista Rose. You're
Okay, I'm
on.
gonna have to make mine quick.
And the answer, Donna, short, just 1 or 2 words, please.
So we'll start with the word hope.
Audacious hope is the only way to live.
Perfect.
Without it, you don't make it.
How about control?
Control. Surrender it.
Surrender would be my next question, but or my next word. I won't say that now. But angel.
Oh, God's angels are everywhere. We don't always recognize them, but accept that they're there and they're there to assist you in your destiny.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Wow, beautiful. So, my beautiful Donna, how are you feeling at this moment?
Like I've had a divine encounter.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Thank you. My beautiful Krista, can you read the one comment that came through? Because I'm already on the music part.
Absolutely. It says, when you get that revelation, you are on your way to restoration.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
So that was
beautiful.
from
Yeah.
Wow, wow. My beautiful Donna, thank you for giving us your words, your beautiful heart, and your beautiful expression, because I love especially when we did the speed round, every time Laura or Krista ask you a question, your face just lit up, because I could choose any words and I choose those specific 6 words. How incredible. A kiss to our beautiful Howard. And then I want to say my beautiful co-host, Krista Rose, beautiful Gail, and beautiful Laura. Thank you so much for being here. You are truly one of a kind. My beautiful viewers, thank you for honoring us with your presence. We don't even know you, but we can feel your heart through the screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then to all the diamond beauties that have commented, thank you, Chris, Sydney. Thank you, beautiful Missy. And there was a few more people that were coming in. I have seen you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. My beautiful viewers, I've got a question. Would you love to have a dance with us? They said yes. They said yes. Here we go.
Little dance and the show.
Woohoo, Donna! Ooh, I need to take a picture. Here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away.
Fabulous show, Donna.
Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with
Bye bye, everyone.